everyone, I wanted to do a brush review of the brushes that I've used for a while. I know I don't have really too many high-end brushes, and that's just the way I've gone. I have also wanted to try some brands that other people have mentioned that are more affordable to just see what I thought about them. So I'm going to start today with a few brushes that I haven't really liked. So my very first bigger brush, other than little tiny brushes I had years ago, was this foundation brush that looks like this, and I don't like it. I've never liked it. And it's by Studio Gear. I like Studio Gear products, and it was somebody from Studio Gear at an Ulta store one day who sold it to me. Oh, it's so nice. You know what? Using my fingers works better for using foundation than this brush. It just kind of smeared the foundation on my skin. Never liked it. So then I've wanted to try e.l.f. brushes because so many people on YouTube say how much they love the e.l.f. brushes. So I went out, they're so cheap, so I bought a bunch of them. And so here's one I haven't used yet. It came apart. This is the blush brush, which I've been waiting to do this video since I bought, well, this came apart just days after I bought it. And I'll put it back together and I'll glue it. But I've been waiting to do this video before I say if I even like it. It's kind of small for a blush brush though, I think. But we'll see. Then another one that I bought from e.l.f. that I'm really not sure what to do with it yet. This is the Total Face Brush. And I think because I have some other face brushes that are more dense is why I haven't used this yet. But maybe I'll use it in the future. Yeah. And then a brush I used to use a lot after putting on blush and just put on a little bit of powder is this brush by Ulta that is the Angle. Since I've been buying more brushes, I haven't been using this one very much at all, but it is very soft. It's just not a favorite anymore. So those are the brushes that I'm really not using right now. Now on to the brushes that I do use. So from time to time, I'll use this concealer brush by Sonia Kashuk, especially if I use the concealer that's hers because it's really thick, and just to get, you know, my finger into it doesn't really work. I'd rather apply concealer or even color corrector with my fingers. I just think the warmth of the hand works better. But if I need to get it out of a little pot, I like to use this. Okay, so on to foundation brushes, and I've enjoyed watching so many people's videos where they've used a foundation brush that's not this one that I don't like. So the first is the flathead brush. Now when I saw this, I immediately thought of paint brushes that are called stipple brushes. Now this brush that I'm holding in my hand, this is actually a paint brush. And it's a stipple brush that's used for stenciling. And years ago, in the 90s in particular, I did a lot of stenciling. And it's one of the times that I left the corporate world when I got sick of the corporate world and I was doing faux finishing and stenciling professionally. So I have a bunch of these. These are called stipple brushes because when you stencil, you put the paint on the edge, and not a lot though, and then when the stencil is taped to the wall, you stipple it in. That's how you stencil. Otherwise, if you put too much paint or if you're painting, you would get paint inside the stencil where you didn't want it. So that's a stipple brush. So when I see these flathead brushes, I call them stipple brushes. Now this one is by e.l.f. e.l.f. calls it a powder brush. Seriously? I've used it to put some foundation on my face, or even put foundation on my hand and then put some on the brush and put it on. And I've really liked how this one has worked, even though it's not very dense. So I've enjoyed that one. Another one I've enjoyed is by Echo Tools. They call this the buffing brush, but I call it the stipple brush because it's flat. And this one is soft and dense. I even bought a second one because they get really dirty when you're using them every day for foundation. And I'll stipple it in just like I'm stenciling, and then I'll buff it in because it's called a buffing brush. Then the other two I've liked for foundation. This one, the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. It's smaller, it's soft and really dense. Marnie Goldberg was using this one a lot, and especially around the eyes and the nose and little crevices. It's really nice for getting the foundation in. And then in a Tarte package I bought from QVC, this beautiful foundation brush came with it. And they don't even have a name for this, but it's really soft and dense and angled. Lovely. So all of these for putting on foundation, I absolutely love. And I don't know if Tarte sells this one separately, but of course all these three, the e.l.f., the Echo Tools, and the Real Techniques, are really affordable. Then for powdering, I'm really loving this Real Techniques that doesn't have a name on the side, and of course I threw out the package. And I'm using this with, I'm still using the loose powder, the translucent, even though it makes me cough when I use it. And I want to try a pressed translucent powder. Natalie, the Beauty Diva, suggested I try the Makeup Forever. So if you have any other ideas for pressed translucent powder, please put it in the comments, because I'd like to try some others that aren't loose. Beautiful brush for that. Then if I am doing contouring, now I haven't mentioned this yet, and I'll do a separate video on this, but Smashbox has their own little thing that's contour over here, because it's kind of a brown taupey color, and it came with this little brush. And even though, yes, I would like to try MAC's brush that Natalie the Beauty Diva suggests, this one works really well for getting in just a little bit of contouring, and down here on the turkey neck or whatever that is, my turkey gels. That's great for contouring. And it came, like I said, it came with the Smashbox contouring set. If I'm doing bronzing, I am lately liking this e.l.f. complexion brush, and I'll use it with my Too Faced bronzer in the milk chocolate, because I'm a pasty white person, and it's nice for just getting a little bit where I want to put it. Now I was using this Ulta, I didn't write it down, sorry, they call it the Ulta highlighting brush, but I was using it for a deeper bronzer on my face, just to get a little bit, because it's so not dense. It's the opposite of dense. Then for blushing, I've relied on these two Old Faithfuls. Now this one from Japanesque I tend to use with colors that are a little bit more peachy. The problem with this brush, even though it applies blush nicely, it sheds and it doesn't stop. I've had it for several years and it doesn't stop. Then I have this No Name brush, blush brush. It's bigger than the e.l.f. one though, as you can see, e.l.f. on the right. And if I'm doing pinks, I just stick to this one. Now lately, using some kind of a highlighter that has more sparkle in it than I normally would put on my face. I gotta call this by the right thing. This is the, flip it over. e.l.f. calls this the Flawless Concealer Brush. Now, I don't use this for concealer. I dab in a little highlighter, and yeah, I have glasses on today, but that's so that I can read. And I put it here, and that's, you know, at my age, that's all the highlighter I need with this nice little brush. Then the other thing I've been liking lately, after I blushed, after I put on the highlighter, I use this. This is an Ulta powder brush, nice and soft but not overly dense, and I'm using it with the Too Faced Candlelight, which I haven't reviewed yet either. This has just the littlest bit of, I don't know if I call it sparkle. I have to look closely to see it. They call it a softly illuminating translucent powder. So it is like a highlighter, but not nearly as highlighting. So lovely with this brush, and I don't put it on my whole face. Cheeks, forehead. I'm careful with the chin, but it's not so bright like a highlighter, because sometimes if I put highlighter on my chin, it looks like I dribbled something. I don't want to go. All right, so those are all my face. Then on to a variety of eye area brushes. So with my Tarte collection, this one came with it, and it's got this nice big piece on the end. They don't even have a name for it, and then a blending on the other end. Then I'm absolutely loving this Echo Tools, and now I've used it so much, it's a double-ended with an angle on the other end. It used to have names in here of what these are, and they've worn off. But then I also have this other Echo Tools that has a blender on one end, and then this stubby, which I'll use for the outer part of the crease and maybe down right at the lash line above and below. And then for the crease itself, I'm using either the Ulta crease brush, which is really nice. It's got this round edge. It's very soft and dense. Or I've even been liking this e.l.f. They actually call this the blending eye brush, but I've been using it for a crease when I don't want to be so exact. Maybe using it with a lighter crease color. And then another thing, if I want to really close to the lash kind of thing, this is an Echo Tools. It doesn't have a name stamped on. Well, it does, but it's wearing off. Sorry. I call it the short brush. Hopefully I can find it online and link to it in the description box below. Then for blending, this is an old brush. This is an old Ulta brush. And if you want to find one like it, you need to touch the brush. So this one, it's not overly dense, but it's very soft and curved, and it's bendable. Unlike the crease brush, which is a little more stiff. I love it. For my eyebrows, I use this Japanese little tiny brush that's angled. I love this brush for doing really fine work. And I also have a short version of that I think is part of their travel kit. And then I've been using this Echo Tools. This is not Echo Tools, I'm sorry. This is Real Techniques setting brush. And I've been using it to wipe away stuff because I'm making mistakes as I'm doing my eyeshadow and that. But also, if I think of it, after the concealer and the foundation, if I want a little extra powder, I can put a little bit of powder on this and put it under here to just set things. So that's it for my longer brushes. Now I have a lot of favorite little tiny brushes. Well, they're just a few inches long. So this angled brush, after I put on eyeliner, I'll put some lighter color eyeshadow on this angled brush and go over the eyeliner to just soften it. And then I've got a couple of these little brushes that are just great for putting some shadow on the eyelid or half of the eyelid if I just want to be a little more exact. If I want to do some inner corner highlighting, I love this little brush. This is, what is this? This is from Japanese. I think I got it at Ulta. Or this one is just, this is another Japanese, and it's just soft, and oh my gosh, it feels like bunny fur. It's so soft. Now the other thing that I wanted to show you is where I store all of these. So the little brushes, I was having a hard time because I didn't want to put them with the big brushes because they would disappear when you see them in it. So I keep them in this little lucite container. This is half of a container. This is also a top part because it's closed, that I got at Container Store. And they just fit in here. They don't fall over. I know exactly where they are. They're on a cabinet in my bathroom. So easy way to put that in there. And then all of my big brushes I put into, I just got this cup. It was just a couple dollars over at Tuesday Morning, which is like a home goods type of store. And you can see if I put the little brushes in here, they disappear and I have a hard time finding them. So that's why I put them in a separate container. So I can grab these out of the cabinet in the bathroom and set them down and use them and then toss them back, and they store easily. So obviously I haven't spent a lot of money on brushes. Right now I feel like I'm brushed out. Although I can think of one I'm missing is that one by MAC that does some really nice contouring. But for right now, I think I'm good. Even if I wash them. I wash mine with shampoo. You know, somebody at Ulta taught me that trick years ago. And then I just let them dry lying down on a towel or a piece of paper towel during the day. So those are my brushes, and I love watching other people's videos to see what they use, and of course then I get more ideas and then I go out and spend more money. But that's just part of being a YouTuber. Alright, thanks. Bye.